Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks simple, a coin that may have passed through thousands of hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and school cafeterias, yet silently carries with it decades of American history and value far beyond its 5 cents. That is the story of the Liberty 5-cent coin from 1960, to a small piece of change that could turn the tables for you if you happen to own one. So stick around until the end of this video, because not only will I take you deep into its history, but I will also reveal its worth according to eBay and other online platforms, along with how you could sell it if you are lucky enough to have one. The 1962 Liberty 5-cent, also known as the Jefferson nickel, is part of a long-running series that began in 1938 and still continues today. By 1962, the design had already been circulating for nearly a quarter century, yet it retained its place in American life as one of the most recognized and heavily used coins in the nation's currency system. On the obverse of the coin, we see the portrait of Thomas Jefferson III, President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This portrait was designed by Felix Schlag, who won a design contest in 1938. Jefferson's image symbolizes leadership, democracy, and the enduring values of American independence, making the coin more than just money, but a reminder of national identity. On the reverse side, you will find Jefferson's home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece and an American icon. The inclusion of Monticello adds depth to the coin, linking Jefferson's political legacy with his vision for culture, architecture, and education. The design has remained one of the most stable in U.S. coinage history, giving it a strong identity among collectors. The 1962 nickel was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with Denver producing the majority of coins. More than 380 million nickels were struck that year, which means the coin is not particularly rare in its most common forms. However, condition and errors are where the true value lies. Know exactly how much your specific coin is worth and how you can sell it. Here's what to do. Comment the word price in the comment box, and I will personally tell you its value according to its condition, as well as guide you through the selling process so you can get the most out of your coin. The Denver mint mark also adds to collector interest. While both Philadelphia and Denver coins are collected, those with the D mint mark sometimes bring stronger premiums depending on strike quality. Collectors pay close attention to subtle differences between the two mint outputs. It's also worth noting that the 1962 nickel is made of a copper-nickel alloy, unlike wartime nickels from 1942 to 1945, which contained silver due to World War II shortages. This distinction makes the 1962 part of the post-war economic boom era, representing a return to normalcy in American coinage beyond its monetary value. This coin is a time capsule of early 1960s America, an era marked by optimism, the space race, and cultural transformation. It reminds us of a nation at the brink of massive technological and social change. Each coin you hold from that year carries with it that invisible story. When we examine sales data on eBay and other platforms, we see that coins in proof condition, sold directly to collectors by the U.S. Mint, are particularly popular. These proof nickels, with their mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, often sell for $10 to $30, with higher prices for top-graded examples. Auction houses also record notable sales of 1962 nickels, particularly in high-grade certified conditions. Prices achieved in auctions reflect how demand among collectors remains steady for this mid-century piece of American currency. So if you have a 1962 Liberty 5-cent coin in your collection, or maybe sitting unnoticed in a drawer, it might not just be pocket change. Its true worth depends on its condition, mint mark, and whether or not it carries any rare minting errors. At the start of this video, I told you that owning this coin could turn the tables for you, and now you see why. In common form, it is a piece of history worth a few cents, but in exceptional form, it can be worth many times more than its face value, especially to dedicated collectors. Wheat penny as a cornerstone of American numismatics. It is often used as an example in coin books and guides to illustrate how minting errors can create some of the most valuable coins in history. The doubling is so pronounced that even beginners can identify it, making it accessible to new collectors, while still being a prized possession for experts. Now when it comes to value, this is where things get exciting. On platforms like eBay, prices for the 1955 double-die penny can vary dramatically depending on condition. Circulated examples often fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, while uncirculated or high-grade examples, certified by grading companies, can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. At major auctions, pristine specimens have even exceeded $50,000, making it one of the most lucrative pennies ever released by the U.S. Mint. What makes the market so active for this coin is not just rarity, but also popularity. It's one of those coins that every collector dreams of owning at least once, which keeps demand alive year after year. Even collectors who normally don't specialize in pennies often make an exception for the 1955 double die simply because of its iconic status. If you've ever come across a 1955 wheat penny, it's worth checking closely. Even regular 1955 pennies in uncirculated condition can bring in more than face value, but the double die version is the real jackpot. Imagine finding one tucked away in an old coin jar, passed down through family, or hidden in a forgotten collection. As for selling, many collectors turn to platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and Stack's Bowers, where the demand is always strong. Certified coins from grading companies like PCGS or NGC often bring the highest prices because buyers are assured of authenticity. So, if you happen to own one of these, it could be a life-changing discovery. Like I mentioned earlier, this coin might just turn the tables for you. But here's the twist: rather than giving away the exact value right now, I want you to comment the word price in the comment box below, and I'll personally tell you its current market value and guide you on the best way to sell it for maximum profit. This way, not only will you learn what your 1955 Liberty wheat penny is worth, but you'll also discover how to turn this small piece of copper into a significant payout. So make sure you drop a comment, because the journey of this coin isn't just about history, it's about opportunity. In your drawer could actually change your life. What if I told you that a small brown coin from 1953, the Liberty wheat penny, might be one of those coins that could turn the tables for you financially? If you own one, it might be worth far more than you think. Stick around, because in this video I am going to take you deep into its history, its hidden details, and by the end you will find out exactly why collectors are chasing it, and how you can discover its true value. The 1953 Liberty wheat penny is part of the beloved Lincoln Wheat series, which began in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first American coin to feature a real person, and not just an allegorical figure, making it a turning point in U.S. numismatic history. By 1953, the wheat penny had already become an iconic staple of American coinage, treasured for both its design and its symbolism. The obverse of the 1953 coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait, while simple, carries a weight of history. Lincoln's image was chosen not only because of his role in preserving the Union, but also because he symbolized honesty, strength, and leadership during one of America's most turbulent times. Collectors today often remark that holding one of these coins feels like holding a direct piece of U.S. history. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, giving this coin its nickname, the wheat penny. These two sheaves of wheat are not just decorative. They represent American agriculture, hard work, and the prosperity of a nation that depended on its farmers. Combined with Lincoln's portrait, the design struck a chord with the American people and has remained one of the most admired designs in U.S. coinage. Now, the year 1953 itself holds special interest. These pennies were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small d, and San Francisco with an S. Each mint produced millions, but their survival in pristine condition is another story. Many 1953 pennies entered circulation immediately, were handled for decades, and show heavy wear that makes uncirculated pieces, or those with mint errors, significantly more valuable to collectors. In terms of composition, the 1953 Liberty wheat penny followed the standard post-war formula of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gave it a warm reddish-brown color when freshly struck. Over time, exposure to the environment darkened many of these coins, but those preserved in original rolls or coin albums often retain brilliant red luster that commands higher prices at auction. Red luster that commands higher prices at auction. Collectors often separate wheat pennies into 3 categories based on color: red, red-brown, and brown. A 1953 penny with a bright red shine is worth far more than a dull, circulated example, even if they are the same year and mint. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC carefully analyze these coins, and the higher the grade, the more dramatic the value jump can be. when we explore the collector market today. The 1953 Liberty Wheat Penny shows its fascinating range of value. On platforms like eBay, common circulated examples may only fetch a small premium over face value, usually a few cents to a couple of dollars. But once you step into higher grades, prices rise sharply. Uncirculated 1953 pennies, with strong luster and minimal marks, often sell between $10 and $50 depending on their mint mark and condition. Exceptional examples certified as MS65 or MS66 have been known to cross into the hundreds. Even more impressive are the rare error coins such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, which can bring hundreds or even thousands at major auctions. Auction houses beyond eBay, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, have recorded remarkable sales for high-grade and rare variety. 1953 Liberty Wheat Pennies, for example MS67 red specimens, are extremely scarce and have fetched prices well above $1,000. These outliers fuel collector enthusiasm and prove that even a humble penny can surprise the market. What makes the 1953 penny particularly engaging for collectors is its balance of availability and challenge. While many circulated pieces exist, finding true gems requires patience and expertise. This keeps the series alive in the collector community and ensures that every year, including 1953, retains its relevance in the numismatic world. For new collectors, the 1953 penny is an accessible entry point. It is not as rare or unattainable as the 1909 SVDB or the 191 but it still holds enough intrigue to excite. For experienced numismatists, it represents a year to upgrade their set with the finest possible example. Either way, it is a coin that bridges the casual hobbyist with the serious investor. The coin's popularity has also been strengthened by its connection to American history. Remember, this was a coin circulating during the presidency of Dwight D. Eisenhower, time when the United States was establishing its post-war dominance and navigating the early years of the Cold War. Every 1953 penny in circulation passed through the hands of Americans living in an era of profound change, and that historic weight gives it added meaning. So when we step back and think, what is the true worth of the 1953 Liberty world? Where today we are going to dive deep into the fascinating story of the Liberty 5-cent coin from 1984. Now let me tell you this right at the start. If you own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. So stick around until the end, because I will reveal its real worth according to eBay, auction houses, and other online platforms, and more importantly, how you can sell it. But at the very end, instead of giving away every detail here, I will ask you to comment price in the comment box, and I will personally guide you with the latest value and the exact selling procedure. The Liberty 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel in 1984, has a history rooted in American tradition and post-war identity. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, it featured the image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. This design carried on for decades, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. By 1984, the Jefferson nickel had already been a familiar sight for nearly half a century, making it not only a circulating coin but also a piece of cultural continuity. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the obverse features the iconic portrait of Jefferson. The reverse shows Monticello, his Virginia estate, a structure that represents Jefferson's vision of architecture, learning, and personal legacy. In 1984, the design was unchanged, but the condition and mending details of the coin gave it unique collectible appeal. The 1984 Jefferson nickel was struck at multiple mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. Denver coins are marked with a D, and San Francisco produced proof issues with the S mint mark. While most of these nickels were produced in massive numbers for circulation, the proof strikes from San Francisco, with their mirror-like surfaces, are especially valued among collectors. What makes the 1984 nickel particularly interesting are the errors and varieties that emerged during its production. Collectors pay close attention to doubled die obverses, repunched mint marks, and even off-center strikes. These errors, though unintended by the U.S. Mint, add significant value to coins that otherwise would be worth only face value. The historical importance of the Jefferson nickel series cannot be overstated. It represents stability during an era of change in American coinage. By 1984, Other denominations like the penny had already undergone shifts in composition, moving from copper to copper-plated zinc, but the nickel retained its original 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy. This continuity gave the coin a reassuring familiarity to the American public.